got most of my clients using LinkedIn. I used Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn predominantly. And this was about 12 years ago. And I discovered that I was getting most of my clients using LinkedIn. And that was like, huh. So I started studying LinkedIn. And it turns out that that studying turned out to be kind of handy. And 5 years ago, I led a workshop at a Lean In event teaching people how to use LinkedIn. And I discovered I was really passionate about it. So, in general, the ways that you gain traction on LinkedIn is connecting with people. So sending personalized invitations, not the generic LinkedIn invitation. Always personalize the invitation. And the next way is to write articles and posts, and we're not going to focus a ton on that during my part of the conversation, but in your small groups, you can work on writing articles and posts. And by commenting, liking, and essentially commenting, liking, and sharing other people's posts. So those are kind of the main ways that you gain traction. But the number one most important thing to do if you want to gain traction on LinkedIn is to have a good profile. So those of you who are threes, likely you have a good profile. So this might be kind of review for you. And for those of you who are kind of newer to LinkedIn, this might be like critical information. And I do blog once a year about LinkedIn in particular, and those are on the Jamboard. And I also gave you the link to my blog where you can find the blogs. So the first number one thing, and this is kind of recent, is to write your entire profile in the first person. It is not a resume. In fact, never post your resume on LinkedIn, because if you post your resume, you lose the opportunity to have a conversation with a hiring manager. And you don't want, if you're looking for a job, you don't want to lose that fabulous opportunity. So the number one thing is write your entire profile in the first person and essentially tell a story about the jobs you've held and how that relates to what you might want to do in the future. So that's number one. And I'm going to actually share my screen. Hopefully this will work. There we go. And you can see my profile. So the number two item on my list is to have an about section that tells your story. And you can see how I tell my story is I use the terms what I do, who I am, how I do it, what others say. And how to get those bolding, that is on the handout that was emailed to you and is in the chat and will get emailed to you again. And there's a link for how you can bold things on LinkedIn. It's not simple to do that. So that's number two. And then the number three thing is to customize your URL. And how you do that is when you're on your profile, up in the right-hand corner, it says Edit Public Profile and URL. And you click on that, and then another window pops up. That's your public profile. And again, in the right-hand corner, you can click the pencil, which is how you edit on LinkedIn, and you can change your name. So that is, and if you have a common name, you might need to put a number at the end of your name. And I suggest the number 1 or the number 10 or the number 100, not some random 78, because no one knows what that number is. And you want it to speak to the subconscious of people.
Hey, Mari,
So
question in the chat. Can you tell us again how to bold?
there's a link for the website you have to go to type your text, and then you cut and paste it into LinkedIn. And the website is on the handout that I emailed everybody, or that Linda emailed everybody. And that's also in the chat. So that's kind of a little more advanced. Okay, so number 4 is consider removing your graduation date. I'm a big fan of not being discriminated against, and ageism exists. And if you're young or older, either way, one of the only key ways that people can tell how old you are is by when you graduated from high school or college. So removing the dates of your schooling is helpful. Now, when you remove the dates, what happens is the order of your education gets all messed up. So there are lines that you can drag and drop your education, which is a little kind of bizarre. So on my education, on my profile, I did remove the years that I went to college, and you can see these lines and you can drag them into the order, and your most advanced degree ought to be the top. So that's about education. And again, what I mentioned, that number 5 is to describe what you did or what you do at your current or previous experiences, is really describe it in a story and to describe what you offer to potential clients. So you can study my profile for that, or actually the profile that I really suggest that you follow. And this, all these names are on the handout I sent you, and all their names are on the Jamboard. So Michelle did an outstanding job of describing work that she did. She worked at the Archery Trade Association, which is a weird organization. I mean, it's really cool, but weird. And she was we talked it all through, and she describes what she did there in terms of clients she wants in the future and she wants now. So studying Michelle's profile is a really good idea for how to describe your past work for future clients or future work. So that's number 5. Number 6 is get recommendations. This is critical. So get people to write recommendations for you. And ideally, you have an equal number of given recommendations and received recommendations. So today, one of the things you can work on is how to write a recommendation, or not how to, you can actually start writing one, or you can ask someone for a recommendation. And when you ask, be sure to tell the person you're asking exactly what you want them to say about you. That helps the person write a really good recommendation, and people really I've written a lot of recommendations, and I really value when people tell me exactly what they want me to say and highlight about them. And recommendations don't have to be long. They can be 5 sentences or 3 sentences if they really pack a punch. The next thing is to be sure that you have 50 skills listed for yourself under the skills and endorsements section. And this is one of the weirdest parts of LinkedIn. And if you're searching for work, this is the thing in the algorithm of LinkedIn that matters. And you want to have skills that relate directly to your work line. So spend a little bit of time on the skills. Now, I'm going to go down and show you a couple of things about the skills because it's a very weird section. So I'm on, if you can see my screen, you can see there's 2 parts. There's add a new skill, and I'm going to click on that first. And you can see I've reached the limit of 50. This is one way to tell how many skills you have listed. And in order for me to add any of these skills, I would have to remove a skill and then it would let me add another one. And it makes weird recommendations on what your skills should be. And the reason they're weird is it's that LinkedIn literally doesn't know what a skill is. The algorithm, the system of LinkedIn doesn't really know. And it makes recommendations based on what work you have listed for yourself. So taking their suggestions isn't required at all. And in fact, if you are searching for work, I would encourage you to look at job descriptions and use the keywords of the skills of the kinds of jobs you want. So that's part one of skills. And then the pencil, if you click on the pencil, you can see that it pins 3 skills at the top. These are the only skills that people see when they look at your profile. And you want these top 3 skills to be the best ones for you. So how you pin it is you click this green, well, it's currently green thumbtack thing, and that's how you unpin and then you pin just by clicking on it. And then the order that you want the skills are those lines, and you scroll it up and down whichever skill you want first, and then you save them. Oh, you can also adjust your endorsement settings, and I would encourage you to have people endorse you. I want to be endorsed. Include me in endorsement suggestions, show me suggestions. So by endorsing people, then they will endorse you. So it's kind of cool. All right, so that's about the skills. And skills, this will take you a minute to get this organized. All right, the number 8 suggestion I have for you is to be sure you have both a headshot and a background photo that relates to your brand. So this is a nonverbal visual image that relates to who you are. So Linda's profile, Linda is a bridge builder, and her profile is her background picture is a bridge. And this is a bridge near her house. So Linda is all about what's around her. And it also has tons of nature. And as you can see in her background image, it has a tree. So this is a perfect background image that non-verbally speaks to who you are. Deepa has also a really wonderful background image, and it really describes who she is and how she moves in the world. It's this image of these people dressed in red, so the red grabs your eye, and you can see that there's a hand, and from one side of the cliff to the other side of the cliff there's a big gap, and the hand is allowing people to get from one side to the other, which is what Deepa does in the world. So it non-verbally speaks to who she is. And that's the kind of image you want to have. So related to your brand, related to how you show up in the world, have it non-verbally speak to people. So that's number 8. And then number 9 is to have a featured image or item in your profile. And Rashmeet has a bunch of really good things in the featured section. So if you scroll down, it's right near the top. You can see she has a number of things here, and you can sort of scroll over and see a bunch of things that she posts all kind. I mean, it's fantastic. You can put your posts, you can put your website link in here, you can put videos you've made, you can put articles you've written in the featured section. So this is the show off and be amazing section, so that people can really learn and know who you are.
Hey, Mari, quick question. Could you tell
Yes.
the group how to change the background picture?
Oh, yes. This is the kind of weird. The other thing I will tell you is if you Google anything like how to change background image on LinkedIn, you will get information from LinkedIn Help, and it's pretty good. So, in general, how you change images in your background image, I'm going to go to my profile because you have to be on your profile. Is you see this pencil up in the right hand corner? You click the pencil, is always how you edit things in LinkedIn. I mean, one of the things Microsoft Word, or the Microsoft people, not Word, owns LinkedIn, and it's not intuitive. So there is a lot about LinkedIn that's kind of weirdly not intuitive. So the pencil is how you do it. So you click on the pencil, and there is, you can delete it, change the photo, and so forth. So that's how you do the background image. Okay, so the other, I have a couple more minutes here. All right, is the activity. So here's the one really important thing to understand about LinkedIn, and that is the anything you like, comment, or do on LinkedIn is observable by everyone. So be very, very intentional and purposeful about what you like, comment on, share. Everything you do on LinkedIn, be purposeful, because hiring manager people will check out your activity on LinkedIn. So how you can do that is if you go to someone's profile, and Duchess, oh my gosh, Duchess is freaking amazing. Duchess gets a lot. She comments, likes, and posts articles, and not so much articles, but she posts a lot. And if you check out her activity and you go see all activity, this is literally everything Duchess has ever done on LinkedIn. Is you can check it out. So you can see it's coming up. There it is. So she loved this comment about the share the mic that Jasmine is doing, which is really cool, by the way. So you can see everything that Duchess has commented on, liked, posted about, and you can learn about what Duchess cares about, which is really valuable information in terms of networking. So you can study someone's LinkedIn and learn a ton about them, which is really, really kind of cool and interesting. So the thing about the activity section is be purposeful and intentional. Now, I did give you 7 profiles, and I told you why the profiles were
Listening
good.
to all.
Is
Where's-
oops, I think someone is not muted.
Not right now.
Hey, you guys, remember to mute. Hey,
A question, Peggy? Yes, go ahead.
the question is, can comments made in private groups still be public?
Technically, no, but emphasis on technically. So it's not one of the most private platforms that ever existed. So you do want to be cautious. Technically, private groups on LinkedIn are private, and it's the internet. So be cautious in general. So I gave you 7 profiles, and in the handout that I emailed you, I told you why their profile is good and what to study, because studying LinkedIn is actually a really kind of amazing thing to do. So I wanted you to have some really good examples, and I gave you 7 women who show up in the world super powerfully. And my time is up, which is fantastic. It always flies.
Okay, there's one question from the chat box. So your time can't be up yet.
Yep, tell me.
Yes, can you remove activity items from the activity list?
Well, not really. That's why really be
Be
the deleting and the editing is not super good on LinkedIn.
All right, another question, dear Mari. So
yes.
some of us have split personalities and like 2 different types of businesses. I know myself, I have a left brain business and a right brain. The question from the chat is, should you have a personal one for business and a private one?
No, I actually suggest that you have only one profile and weave the aspects of yourself into one profile and describe who you are in your about section, because you want to have them go together. And I mean, if you study my profile, I've had a billion different weird jobs, and I put them all on there, and I describe who I am very succinctly in the about. So I encourage people to put it all in one profile.
Okay, 2 more questions, dear. Can you move achievement section to near the top? Because right now it's at the bottom.
Can you move achievements? I do know what the achievement section is, and LinkedIn is not very flexible. So wherever it thinks that section should be, that is where it is. So no, you can't move sections. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Okay, and then I think this was for the prior question. Does the tip apply to a LinkedIn business page?
Oh, so the whole LinkedIn business page is different. So you should have a business page if you have your own business, because that's how you get the logo on your profile, is by having a company page. So having a company page is super valuable and super easy to create.
All
Like,
right, so what if you have two businesses, Mari?
create 2 company business pages.
Dang, you're good. All right, one more. How do you drive engagement to get others to start liking and commenting on your posts?
Okay, so Ellie, who did a workshop in August 15th, I think it was, she did a whole section about that. And the first hour after you post something, an article or a post, matters the most. So tell people you know to say, I'm going to post an article at 7:45 a.m. on Tuesday, whatever day, and tell people that you know to go in, comment, and um, share it, because
Okay,
that's how the first hour is the power hour on LinkedIn. And
all
I
right.
would say and also Ellie did a workshop about pods.
All right, so don't put it in the middle of the night. All right, we have two more questions and then I have to do a cutoff. So, should you put strong volunteer leadership experience in experience or volunteer?
Well, that's up to you. I mean, I did not get paid for any of my work with Lean In, but I did it for so long and it's very relevant to what I do in the world that I put it in experience. So even though I didn't get paid, it wasn't a job per se. So it's really up to you. Yeah.
Okay, is Lean In Premium worth the money?
Only if you want to do LinkedIn Learning. So LinkedIn Learning, if you look at Michelle's profile, so that's one of the samples. Michelle pays for it. It's $50 a month. And she uses LinkedIn Learning and also the Sales Navigator, which is not a strength that I have. If you are going to try to recruit a lot of people using LinkedIn Navigator or LinkedIn Sales, then it's worth it.
All right, what if I'm looking in two different career paths?
Yeah, that's a very specific question. So
All right, so then
that
I'm going to
yeah.
have them reach out.
Yeah.
Whoever asked that question, talk to Mari because obviously she is. All right, my question for you is, Mari, if we are just like crazy and want to be so excited about what you're doing and connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
Well, Mari at mariruddy.com. And you can also go to my blog and sign up for my email list. And I am offering a special sale on my services. I do one-on-one coaching and I have 3 different packages and there's a 10% sale. So just go to my website, LinkedIn Profile Magic, because I definitely believe in magic. And this is a powerful way to show up magically in the world.